Hey, did you know that 750,000 teens ages 15 to 19 become pregnant every year? And nearly 50% of all reported sexually transmitted infections occur in people ages 15 to 24. The question of whether to educate children about sex in a classroom is very controversial. However, sex should be taught in a classroom. Sex taught in a classroom can raise sexual awareness and prevent unpleasant situations in your child's future. Growing up, I watched my older sister become pregnant at the age of 13 years old. I watched her give birth at the age of 14 years old. I watched her give birth to her very first child. I watched her take on responsibilities of a child, taking care of another child. My mother, on the other hand, was responsible for this 14-year-old and her newborn baby. My mother did not discuss the birds and the bees with my sister, and neither did her school. If this subject was brought up early, in home or at school, then maybe, just maybe, her getting pregnant could have been prevented. Sexual education being taught in schools can be very beneficial to students. Sexual education in school provides children with the facts about how intercourse happens. Without sexual education in school, or it being taught at home, students are left to explore sex on their own. It also provides students on how diseases spread. Students who are left to explore sex on their own could lead to a girl who kisses a boy who thinks that she has an STD. Sex education provides important information on how females get pregnant. 57 pregnancies occur per 1,000 women ages 15 to 20 through 19. In other words, 16% of all 15 to 19-year-olds become pregnant in a year. Having sexual education classes in schools helps explain the risk of having sex to students. That's something that should be taught. According to the CDC HIV surveillance report, young people ages 13 to 15 accounted for 21% of all new HIV diagnoses in the United States. That's a lot. Telling students about the vast number of risks associated with sex makes them aware, and lets them know that it's a big deal. Risks include things such as sexually transmitted diseases, childbearing, and abortion. In 2011, there were 334,000 births among girls ages 19 or younger, representing 8% of all U.S. births. That's a huge number. Women ages 15 to 19 had about 150,000 abortions in the United States. If students did not know which acts transmits herpes, AIDS, gonorrhea, and other STDs, they are likely to fly blind and take a risk that they are not aware of. If students understand the risk, that they can make informed decisions. If students understand about sex, sexual education classes in school can provide those options to your child. Sexual education usually discusses abstinence, safe sex, and the dangers of unprotected sex. These classes or courses can allow students to intelligently choose whether to be sexually active or not. This leads to a well-educated student body. They are well-educated on sex. If it's taught in school, students are able to discuss their options amongst their peers and intelligently. Most sex education classes will provide resources and that curious or troubled students can turn to. You want your child to be able to turn to someone. If students have further questions about sex, they can speak to a teacher or be referred to a local clinic. Knowing these resources are available and how to get in touch with them will prevent students from taking their sexual health into their own hands without the proper knowledge. If they're educated on sex, they can understand where they need to go and where they need to be. Nearly 1 in 4 females teens are at risk for unattended pregnancy. In today's school, sexual education classes are beneficial to students. It gives them the opportunity to become educated on sex and leaves them with making the right choices when it comes to having sex. Sexual education in schools can be very beneficial because it teaches students how about sex, it clears misconceptions, explains risks, provides students with options and available resources, and if they want to further learn about sex outside of schools, parents should not be responsible for just teaching their children about sex at home. Schools should also be responsible. Sometimes parents do not have time to teach their children about sex. So you want to help your child make the right decision. And schools should be willing to help their kids make the right decisions also. Having a second place to learn about sex can be the best, and it can prevent things from happening that is not wanted to happen. Hi, I'm Alicia Evans, and thank you for listening to my speech on how sexual education in school. Thank you.